it down, Tim. Break it down.
And then people come to church and they're ashamed to say that they have problems because in our religion you're supposed to have no problem. If you have a problem, something wrong with you. If your child gets in trouble, you failed as a parent. If you have a problem, then you have not close to God. Where that kind of theology come from?
Come on, Tim. Come on, Tim.
You can be close to God, do the best you can, do all you can, and storms are going to still come.
Come on, Tim. Break it down, Tim.
So the question on the table
Break it down, Tim.
is that we know that storms are unavoidable.
Right.
Break it down, Tim.
Living in a $200,000 house won't keep you from having storms.
Break it down, Tim.
Living in a $150,000 house won't keep your marriage together. Driving a Lamborghini won't keep your son off crack.
Break it down, Tim. Break it down, Tim.
Having a PhD degree, having a master's degree won't necessarily keep your child from having a bad attitude. I know we don't have that hatred in God. We got sweet kids here. Amen. So storms are unavoidable.
Yeah.
Everybody got problems. The president had problems. I remember he was talking not too long ago. He was still asking about what was his greatest challenge. But he said something. He said his greatest challenge was apparently his baby daughter got sick when she was a baby. And the doctor came out and said that she had, I believe, meningitis. You know, meningitis is a kid. We just had a child who died not too long ago. So even though you've got a man now who's right before he became president, but just because you live in the White House doesn't mean you don't have trouble. Amen. So they are unavoidable. But number two, he says, whenever you face trials of many kinds, also storms are not only unavoidable, but they are unpredictable. Amen. You think it's going to come one place and it's come from another place. You thought your jaw was shaking. You just knew any moment they're going to get rid of you. But then your wife come home and they tell her she don't have a job. You've been taking care of your sick grandmother because the doctor says she's been sick, she's been in intensive care. They called a family together. Y'all thought y'all were going to lose her. So you thought your grandmother's going to be the one you're going to lose. But then you get a call and they tell you that your dad is dead.
Tim Daniel. Tim Daniel.
You've been having trouble with your son because he's the one always in the stuff since he's been in kindergarten. In trouble when he was in kindergarten. This is trouble all the time. And you expect that you're going to get a call, it's going to be that boy that does something crazy. But then you get a call from your straight A student daughter saying they're going to kick you out of school. See, you can't predict what direction the storms will come. And you think the storm's going to come from that way.
They come from another direction.
And it'll come from. You go into the doctor, think your stomach bad, he tell you your heart bad. I'm so tired of the doctor sticking all over you. You go there, you feel worse when you leave. Sticking stuff, probing you. Amen. Okay. The young ones don't know what to talk about, but just stay around here. Amen. Or somebody wants to say, you can tell how old you are by the doctors you got. Foot doctor, chin doctor. You got heart doctor, ear doctor, eye doctor, neck doctor. Storms are avoidable, storms are unpredictable, and then number three, storms are uncontrollable. That's right. There are times when things are going to happen in your life that ain't nothing you can do. That's right. That's right. So the question on the table, since storms are unavoidable, they're unpredictable, they're uncontrollable. So the question is, how do you respond?
Yeah.
Because no storm, even though it's unavoidable and predictable and uncontrollable, no storm can make you or break you. It is how you respond. The question on the table is, what do we learn from the storm? The only thing worse than going through a trial, the only thing worse than going through a storm is not learning from it. So, and again, some of these people talk about, but let me go through it very quickly again because it's in the Bible. Some storms God give us, they give us to correct us. Those are called correcting storms. Sometimes God got to send a storm to correct our attitude, our priorities. Sometimes your priorities are wrong. And so God said, you know what? You're in love with money and stuff, and your whole life is stuff. get money you don't have to impress people you don't like.
All
You know one thing I found out. If people don't like when you get stuff, they say they're going to like it. They're going to hate it more. And the ones that hated you when you were broke, and then you get something, they start liking you. They don't like it no way. They just use you. When you get broke again, they don't like you after that. So, folks who really love you when you're broke. That's why I thank God for a good woman that loved me when I was broke. When I met Cynthia, I was broke. No, seriously, when I was dating Cynthia, the guy got us, I had one suit. And that, the pants, I washed them in the washing machine, and they had drawn up so it was blood. I had a ragged car with no air conditioner. Amen. Amen. You ever drove a car with no air? Amen. I drove a whole summer with no air.
Yeah.
I was broke. I remember when we first got married, I wanted to take her out, and you know, this one time we were in an apartment, and we had two old ragged cars. I had a ragged Cordova that was getting about 6 miles to a gallon and leaking transmission fluid, and I couldn't get it fixed. You ever have a car, you got to drive it, but you can't get it fixed, it's just really bad. And I remember when I take an out, Craig, and we were scrambling around. I'll never forget both of us were going looking in our pockets for change to get a hamburger. Bro! Look at the 59 cent hamburger. Amen. Bro! That's bro. And Stevie, here's the way I look at it. If she loved me when I was broke. Yeah. I like to tell folks that. How many of you sisters can love a broke man? Okay. Love a broke man. If you can love a broke man, because he got Jesus in it. Listen, you're better with a broke man with Jesus than a millionaire without Jesus. Listen, if you had a choice and you had a broke man with Jesus and you had a billionaire without Jesus, you know what? I know what y'all would say. Give me that broke man.
Well,
I didn't get no amen.
encourage him to know the Lord.
I'll teach the rich man.
There you go. There you go. That's it. Let me work
Ain't
with
no
it.
hands go up.
Okay, I need to finish on. Y'all, stay in clock crowd, y'all.
Ain't nobody's hands went up.
But sometimes the stuff we in love with, God got to send a storm to take away from us and get our attitude together. So God got to correct our priorities. Listen, people are more important than things.
That's it.
And sometimes we got to correct our attitude. Correct. And so sometimes we go through storms, and sometimes I want to correct us. But then also there are directing storms. These are storms too. God will send our lives to direct us to the right people. See, sometimes God has got to hook us up with somebody. But he got to send us through a storm to hook us up.
Yeah.
You remember Joseph? God needed to hook Joseph up with Pharaoh. Well, how did he do it? He sent storm. He had brothers who hated him. He was another storm, thrown in a pit. Another storm, he was sold as a slave. Joseph probably said, Lord, what have I done? Storm after storm after storm. Then he was falsely accused of rape. Then he was put in prison for 2 years. Storm after storm after storm. But while he was in prison, while he was locked up, God gave him a hookup. In the midst of a storm, he hooked him up with the man who had worked for Pharaoh. And so God sent all those storms to put, and see, sometimes what God will do, he'll send us through a storm not just to put people in our lives to bless us. He'll send a storm in our lives to put us in the life of people to bless them. There are some of you right here, there are some people that you are close to. And it may be you really got close to them when you were going through a bad time. God sends storms to direct us. You remember Naaman in 2 Kings?
Yeah.
God needed to hook Naaman up with Elijah. Well, how did he do it? He gave him a dreaded disease called leprosy. And with the leprosy, the little girl hooked Naaman up, and Naaman got hooked up with the man of God and found out about Jehovah God. But how did he get that hooked up? How did he get in the life of Elijah? Elijah get in his life through a storm. So sometimes, that's why he said you count it all joy, because sometimes he's using these things to correct us. We're going to be better. Sometimes he's using them because God is going to put some people in our lives to bless us.